Hi, it's been a little while. This is going to be a very chill video, just be prepared for it. I am basically planning on filming this straight and then almost straight uploading it because that's just kind of where we are right now. But I wanted to give a bit of an update while I'm feeling well on, how November went, a bit of a writing update, a life update. I have a really cool book I wanted to show you, and I want to talk a little bit about what I have planned for the next month, especially after how November went. But also I have some sticky notes here so that I don't forget things. I'm going to be looking at those, so just it's fine. It's fine. No one cares. No one cares. It's fine. But if you watched my last vlog, because I did have an interview video that I did mid-November, but my last vlog was after the first week of NaNo. And I have not done that much writing since then. I had one good writing session mid-month, and then I've had 5 or 6 decent short writing sessions in the last week. But other than that, I haven't gotten that much writing done. I am nowhere near 50K. I definitely did not win NaNo. I did not. I don't even think you can consider it participating in NaNo, but that's fine. I can't even put into words how crazy the month of November has been for me. It's just been I don't think you can even anticipate it being that bad. Not that it's bad, it's just having to work through a lot of stuff all at one time life-wise, just a lot of responsibilities and commitments and things you gotta do, it's just weird. But yes, so I have a sticky with just kind of all the things that kind of happened, just because I think it's kind of funny just to hear it all together. But you would have seen in my earlier vlogs that I started the month with the flu. My whole family had the flu, so that was obviously a rough way to start the month. But then I was like, oh, it's gonna be great. I'm feeling better. I'm gonna get into this. And I started getting into my story again. And then the next thing that happened, was I had a doctor's appointment with my new doctor. I got some working diagnosis things to kind of go with right now. So technically I'm still diagnosed with CIS. So I had a clinically isolated syndrome that one time. It's debatable whether or not that's actually valid. My doctor and I are both kind of we'll put it on the record because it's possible and it will make things easier later on if it does turn into something else, but we think it's mostly just migraines, which is I think way better. I've gotten to the point where I'm pretty sure that's way better. So I'm on medication for that makes them happen less often, relieves the nerve pain, which is great. I've been doing so good in that regard this last month, which is amazing. But then he was able to put me back on one of the medications I was on before, kind of adjusted my medicine. So I had a bit of an adjustment period. So that kind of threw me off my game. And then we realized that with the holidays coming up and with it getting colder and wanting to park a car in the garage, and our garage is an absolute mess, we kind of needed to clear everything out in the garage. And in order to do that, we rented these bagster things where they're sort of bag, garbage truck pickup things. So they come, you put all of your dump stuff in it and they come and pick it up. It's a mini dumpster. And with the price of it, it made sense to kind of do everything at once. So that turned into us realizing we kind of needed to go through our whole garage, get everything cleaned out, go through the whole house and get everything cleaned out, do a big load to donate, this whole thing. So we basically spent all of our free time for an entire week and weekend doing that, which I feel amazing about having done that, as a human being in my house. Our garage is clean and organized, our house is decluttered, we got a ton of the baby stuff that we don't need anymore, a ton of the kid clothes that our kids have outgrown, and we were able to donate that all or pack it away for family and stuff like that. So my mental state just being in my house is so much less cluttered. I just feel so much better and less stressed. So that is a very good win, a good long-term, medium-term win. But then that was the week before Thanksgiving. So I hope your Thanksgiving was well. I would say my Thanksgiving was good, but Thanksgiving, it takes up a lot of time. It's stressful. We had family staying with us, which is, when people drive 6.5 hours to stay with you and they're only really there for a couple of days, you kind of gotta, enjoy them while they're there. So we did that, spent time with family, which I love spending time with family. Both sides of my family love playing games, like my family and my husband's family. So we get to play a lot of like card games, board games. It's a blast. The kids had a lot of fun too. But the week leading up to Thanksgiving, I started getting what I thought was just like teeth pain, right? Like maybe I was grinding my teeth or clenching my jaw a lot, or something weird was going on with my retainer. It was just kind of like messing with my teeth. So I was kind of having progressively more trouble sleeping throughout the week because my teeth were just hurting. And then I woke up, I spent a good portion of the night before Thanksgiving, so like Thanksgiving Eve, not sleeping. I was just incredibly uncomfortable. I tried like lifting up a pillow, like I had tried like ibuprofen and Sudafed and nasal decongestion sort of, and I had the pillow propped up. I was just trying desperately to get some sleep. Could not get more than maybe 3 hours of sleep, maybe 4. And then, like, all day on Thanksgiving, like, I just had this intense pressure. And I was talking to my husband about it. We realized that it's not my teeth or my jaw, it's my sinuses. So we're like, oh, I have a sinus infection. And it was, like, not super bad that day, right? Like, it was just kind of, like, annoying. Like, I was still able to, like, make a full Thanksgiving dinner, which was awesome. That was the sexiest turkey that ever existed. It was just perfect. It was perfect. It was perfect. Thanksgiving is my favorite day of the meal, so like cooking it is something that like I'm very particular about everything, and I time it, and there's like schedules and plans, and like it's a whole thing. So I have a ton of fun with that, and I was able to do that, enjoy Thanksgiving with my family. It was great. But getting into the evening, I realized that like anytime I tilted my head back, I was just in excruciating pain. Like worse pain that is really reasonable for a sinus infection. And then that night, like, I could not lay down at all. Like, I tried propping pillows up as much as I could, but, like, at the point that I leaned my head far enough back that, like, it could rest on something and not fall forward if I fell asleep, because I was tired enough that I fell asleep sitting up a few times and, but I couldn't, like, even lean on something, like, at all. Like, I tried tons of things. I tried, like, laying on different directions. I tried, like, trying to, lay with my face on something forward. We took all the reasonable at-home medications. Like, I tried all this stuff. I could not, like, it was just, like, excruciating. Like, if I, like, leaned back and, like, tried to sleep like this, it was so painful that I was just, like, sitting there, like, trying to get through it. Like, that's all I could do. It's like if you've been in active labor, literally it was at that level of I'm just sitting there rocking or like tapping my leg, trying to just like distract my senses to kind of compartmentalize it a little bit. It was just excruciating, and it would take like a while for like the swelling to go back down enough that I wasn't in that much pain anytime I like leaned my head back or if I touched my face. It was just awful. And so what I ended up having to do, which this is kind of funny, but we had one of those like airplane pillows that like, like you can like rest your neck on like this so that you can sleep on an airplane sitting upright. And I was able to get like little like swatches of, or little bits of like 30, 45 minutes of sleep before like that would start to kind of make my face sore. And then I had to like take it off and, like wait until it was not hurting, right? And then try again. And so I got barely any sleep that night too. And then all day Friday, it was just like, during the day, it was just like I'd be just in so much pain, just on and off constantly. It just was ridiculous. So I went to like a minute clinic. I got like, they looked in my nose and my ears, and I had a sinus infection and what looked like potentially ear infections in both ears. And so they gave me antibiotics. So I started the antibiotics that night. It was sort of doing a little bit the next day. And, like, since then, because that was It was a 7-day antibiotic, and I take the last pill in the morning. So it's basically been a week. And it has not really gotten better. I have gotten to the point where, like, it's not completely excruciating pain all day. Like, I'll have bursts of, I'll have some time in the morning, like, when it's just, like, really painful. And in the evening, like, today I spent some time just, like, sitting on the floor in the kitchen. But I think at this point today, it's, like, it's sort of like the sinus infection pain all over my face is then, like, triggering, like, a migraine, like, an actual, like, headache migraine, which has been fun. So, yeah. I've gotten, like I said, bunches of little, like, writing sessions this last week done, but, like, I can't stay in the same position that long, right? And, like, sometimes it's just, like, it hurts my face to, like, kind of be sitting like this. I don't know. So I've done what I can, and yeah, I don't really know how that's gonna go. I'm seeing the doctor again in the morning, and I'm really hoping that, I don't know. It feels like it's kind of ridiculous for a sinus infection to be, like, in that much pain all the time, and the antibiotics clearly didn't work, so, like, I don't know. I'm hoping it's not another migraine thing, because I think migraines can cause symptoms like sinus infections or, like, sinusitis, whatever that is. And, like, I wasn't sick before getting the sinus infection. I don't have a runny nose. I'm not congested. I don't have to blow my nose. Like, I don't have gross snot. Like, it's literally just the, like, pain and, like, the swelling and the yeah. So, we'll see. I'm doing that tomorrow, but I'm hoping I will continue to get better, right? Leading in December, which will be good. But before I talk about December, I want to share a book that I got. So E.J. Mello has a book series that is called, I think it's called The Messiah. The Messiah, I think is what it is. Does it say? Yeah, The Messiah. And the first 2 books are out, and I really like them. They're like, it's sort of like fantasy romance, like dark fantasy romance. It's definitely adult, but it kind of has some, like, YA kind of crossover appeal. It's very good. It's just, it's fun. It makes me happy, right? And so I read the first 2 books, love them. And then I follow the author on, I think, Instagram, and then I'm also on her newsletter now. And she did a newsletter giveaway for arcs of book 3. And I actually won that. And so I got shipped to me an arc of her book. And so it's really cool. So it has, like, this little sticker for, can you see that? For advanced reader copy. This book is not out until Valentine's Day, which is pretty cool. And it's signed with my name on it, which is really cool. So I'm, like, really excited. I already finished it. It was fantastic. I, like, binge read the whole thing. I love it. It's amazing. I highly recommend you read this series. It's just fun, like, it's a fun series. And it's, well written. The world building is fun. I like the concepts in it are pretty cool. I think it's technically a series of standalones, but the stories are all, like, it's like that typical how in a romance book you would have, like, separate stories that are sort of linked chronologically and the characters kind of come together. It's about 3 sisters, and the stories are all chronological, and it involves their family, and all the sisters are in all the books, but they take turns being the main character. But the fantasy elements of it are really strong, and the thing I really like about it is, other than the fantasy part being strong and the world building strong, is that all the characters have pretty significant, like, internal growth and internal conflict that they have to go through in their own, like, plot lines that sort of the romance is intertwined with. So it was, like, the perfect balance for a really fun time for me. So I loved that. I highly recommend it. So that was kind of my favorite read of the month. But okay, so it is December now, right? It is, for me, December 1st. I think this will go up December 2nd, but, like, we're getting into the run to Christmas, like, the holidays. I'm so excited. I love Christmas. I love the holidays. I love just the festivities of it. it feels like a good time to like appreciate family and work on traditions and just like build those really good family memories. And I love buying presents for people. Like, I just really enjoy it, and I get really into like wrapping things and everything. I don't know. I'm very excited for it, but the beginning of December is, and we've been mentally preparing ourselves for this, really, really rough, because I don't know if I've actually talked about this much, but we have an au pair right now, who's from Scotland, and she's absolutely amazing. She's actually only a couple years younger than me. She's like a professional child caregiver. She like worked in nurseries back home before she came over here, but she's like we're very, very good friends with her. It doesn't feel like a like employee type situation or like an exchange student type situation or anything like that. She's just a really good friend, and then is like, oh god, how do you word this to not be really weird? She's like, if we were in like a platonic partnership where she was the stay-at-home mom, it's sort of like that. So I don't know. It's just been amazing having her here. We're gonna miss her horribly, and adjusting our lives for that is gonna be really difficult because like she does everything with us, right? Like it's basically just having a family member there. Like if your sister was staying with you or your mother-in-law or just like someone just like lived with you, it's basically that. It's like we go grocery shopping together, we, have dinner together every night, we hang out, we play video games together, like, we go out and do trips and errands, like, we go on vacation together. So it's a big adjustment, and she's leaving on Tuesday, so that's gonna be, it's just gonna be a big adjustment in all areas, getting used to that, but also, that means that my daughter has to start going to daycare, right? Because we still need childcare, and luckily she's kind of old enough now that it's not as expensive, so that's going to start being more expensive just because daycare is way more expensive than having an au pair. But yeah, I don't know. Today was my daughter and my son's first day at their new daycare. My son went to a different daycare before because we started a mid-year because he kind of needed the socialization and it was still cheaper. So we did that, and today went well with daycare, but it's like a whole new routine for us. Like, it's just, it's everything's different. Everything's different. Our schedule of when we're getting into work is different. We're trading off pickup on drop-offs now because it makes sense to do so, because we're not constrained by like the like state department's au pair hours for like how much they can work in a day and in a week, and like it's just I don't know. I don't do well with like I want to say I don't do well with like structure schedule changes like that, but also I feel like it's a really good opportunity for us to find something that works really well for us. So that's what we're kind of trying to do. And I think we have a good plan, right? But implementing the plan is going to be the problem. But if we can manage it, I think it will be better all around as like a general routine. I think it'll give me a little bit more of a strict like writing time, which will be really nice. So I'm hoping it goes well. I don't know. It's a lot. I'm hoping tomorrow isn't a nightmare now that my daughter actually knows what it means when we say goodbye. Like today, I said goodbye to her, and I was expecting a total nightmare reaction because this is the child that when I went back to work, she like went on a what's the word? I don't know. She refused to eat. She would not take a bottle at all. And so I would have to come home like at 1 every day at the point where it's been long enough that like she hasn't eaten, that I'm like, you need fluids, you need to eat something. So I had to come home every day for like 3 weeks to feed her. And then she like, even when she was okay drinking from a bottle, she would drink like the bare minimum and then like reverse cycled so that she was eating all of her calories at night and keeping us up. So like, this is that child. And I thought dropping her off would be horrible. But we dropped her off. She was fine. She's like, there's another kid. I'm going to go play with them. And we were like, bye. And she was like, bye-bye. And we're like, okay. So, like, I walk out. I'm, like, walking past the little, like, viewing window. And I'm like, bye. And she just looks at me like, which is that, her like, what's going on? Like, where are you going? So, yeah. Yeah. So that's been interesting. But I'm hopeful. It went really well. She didn't scream. So maybe it'll be fine, which would be great. But I don't know. I'm feeling like December's going to be a little bit easier. We have obviously a lot going on around Christmas, but like we don't actually have much going on the next few weeks once our au pair leaves. So I think I'll be able to catch up on some stuff. I'm trying not to think about it as catching up, right? Because I don't want to do more than I normally would. I just want to like get back in the flow of doing the right amount, you know? That's kind of my goal. I have like some manuscripts by my critique partners that I want to finish going through. I was originally planning in December to switch back to revising my blood magic project now that I've gotten some critique partner feedback. But my husband is one of those critique partners, or he's sort of like my alpha beta reader, I don't know. But he's also had the same kind of month as me, so he hasn't actually finished my book. So I think I'm going to give another month, both so that I can actually get as much done in this draft of my new project as I was hoping to get done, and so that he can finish giving me some feedback. I have feedback from another critique partner too that I can look at, and I think I'm going to have more from someone else, I think. But it's going to work out timing-wise for getting all that information and starting that draft. So I'm still going to be first drafting my blood, what am I calling it? Like my Magic Well book, my Magic Forged project. I'll come up with like a catchy name for it. I don't know. But I'm happy about that. I was really sad at the idea of having to like stop it, because like I feel like I'm really just getting into it and I'm really loving the story. I just wrote the scene that's like the big meet cute where the love interests meet, and it was just like really fun, and I'm getting into the catalyst. I think I'm in the middle of that scene right now, and it's just like I love this project. So I'm happy that I'm giving myself another month to work on it. So I have that, and then I need to get another world building guide video out, and then I have a couple of videos that I need to finish up and put out, but I'm not gonna push too much on that, you know, like I'll try and get a couple and then some vlogs out. It's fine. But I don't know. I'm very optimistic for December, which like might be a little weird given that I still have so much stuff going on in the next like, what is it? It's Thursday. Like in the next 5 days is going to be crazy, but I don't know. I'm in pain. I'm barely sleeping. I'm having incredible pain randomly throughout the day, but I feel really good about where we are right now as a family. Like, I feel like my house is in order. I feel like my family's in order. I feel like we're figuring out a really good routine and schedule. Like, and maybe part of it's just like they went to daycare today. Like, we finished with all the paperwork, which I won't get into that, but getting all the like medical stuff like has been a nightmare with our pediatrician closing and us not being able to get all the like medical records from them. There's like issues with that, and then trying to get them in a new place to actually get their vaccines back up to date, because it's the whole thing. I'm not going into it. But like the stress of that, having to get all the stuff for them to go, like, because like they need so much stuff. Like she needed like stuff for her like cot. She needed a little book bag and a little like lunch box and like labels for all of her clothes, because everything has to be labeled. So like having gotten through that, it just feels really good. So I'm really optimistic. I don't know. I feel like that sounds really weird, but yes. So I don't know how long and rambly this vlog is already, or update, whatever video this is, but I feel like it's probably been long enough. But I would love to know how your NaNo or November has been going, whatever you've been up to. I really need to get caught up, like, especially all the other author tubers. Like, I am so behind. I've barely watched any YouTube in the last month. I've just been, like, so busy. So I'm gonna hopefully catch up soon on how everything was going. But for all of you watching, I would love to know what you've been up to. And I would love to know if you have any advice for, like, kids starting daycare, because it's a little bit, I think it's going to be a little bit rough, especially next week. But, you know, that's kind of all I got right now. I look forward to doing some more drafting. I want to start a writing vlog, I think, probably next week, where I'm like really getting into it again once I'm feeling better and all the house stuff is like settled and au pair stuff settled and daycare and all that. So I'm really looking forward to that. You should look forward to that. Yes, I will see you next time.